Hey guys, what's happening? Hey, I wanted to take a sec and talk about something that I think is super important. Yesterday was August 6th, and that may not mean much to you, but if you're from Japan, it means quite a lot because that is the 75th anniversary of the day that atomic bombs were dropped in Hiroshima. Um, I think this is a pretty important thing to be aware of. It's the only time that one government has decided to drop nuclear weapons on another, eviscerating tens of thousands of civilians. Um, and I think it's very easy to forget that this happened. Super quick, 1945, the U.S. in an attempt to end the World War II, they dropped a 15 kiloton bomb on a bunch of civilians. And the tens of thousands of people, anywhere from 70,000 to 140,000 people died instantly. We're not sure. The world doesn't know exactly how many people died. But the crazy thing about it is that 3 days later, after they saw what happened, unlike anything ever, and then 3 days later, they did it again, and they dropped another one on Nagasaki. I think that is just incredibly evil. Some people say they did it to end the war. I think it's a lot more complex than that, and frankly, I think they were flexing. Anyways, we don't need to get lost in the mistakes of the Truman administration. I'd rather talk about what's going on in the world today. On August 5th, we had this crazy explosion in Beirut. And that explosion, when I first saw that video, I honestly thought it was a nuclear explosion. That's what it looked like. It was so intense. And it really brought to the forefront of my mind something that's always been something I'm really worried about, which is the fact that nuclear weapons are out there and they're controlled by politicians. I think this is one of the most important things of our time is nuclear disarmament. I'm a firm believer in this, and I wish more people were aware of the fact that we are sitting. It's very similar to the Beirut situation, where we're sitting on top of a pile of dynamite, so to speak. It's pretty terrifying, and the amount of times that we have come very, very close to an explosion happening, a nuclear war happening, you wouldn't believe it. A good example of that would be to Google the name Vasily Arkhipov. If you Google Vasily Arkhipov, the story will give you chills. I'm just going to leave it to you, but because of this one guy on a Soviet Union sub back in the Cuban Missile Crisis, because of this one dude who stood up against his, superiors, there was not a nuclear war. If it hadn't been for one guy saying, no, I'm not going to do what I'm told, there would have been a nuclear war. Look into that guy, Vasily Arkhipov. Anyways, I'm saying all this stuff because I think that nuclear disarmament is hugely important. I think we don't think about it enough. There has been some progress. They've gotten rid of a bunch of bombs. There used to be tons of bombs. Now they've whittled it down to a much smaller pile. The arms race slowed down, although now there actually is fears that there's going to be a whole revamped nuclear arms race, which hopefully cooler heads prevail. In 2017, there was actually a UN, what's the term for it? Push, for lack of a better word, to ban an outright ban. They tried to ratify an outright ban against nuclear weapons. And I think it was Austria that pushed for it. And unfortunately, a couple key countries chose not to. Russia, France, UK, and take a wild guess which other one. America. They refused to sign, and thus it hasn't been done. But they only need a few more signatures, and they're actually going to be able to potentially push it through, which is exciting. Hopefully that can happen in our lifetime. I think this is vastly important to do. So I just wanted to put this out there. We've seen how incompetent our governments are. They can't even handle, it's a mess. Do we really want our elected officials to have the ability to end humanity? We can't let this be the normal. We need to step up, and we need to make nuclear disarmament a real thing. I wanted to make this video. I'm just putting it out there. And hopefully this encourages you to look into it more. I would recommend to anybody who wants to know more about the whole World War II situation and that crazy situation on August 6th, 1945, The Untold History of the United States is super, super interesting. It's written and directed by Oliver Stone. Fantastic. 12 episodes. Highly recommend taking a look at it. Anyways, anybody who wants to talk about this, feel free to message me. If it's a little too heavy, I get it. But the world doesn't change unless we change it. So let's be a change and a force of good. Have a great day.